Hello guys, welcome back to 1878 Blues. It's just finished a few moments ago. Sheffield United 2, Everton 2. Just before we get into this match reaction, if you can like, comment, subscribe, it will massively help the channel. And a 2-2 draw for Everton. 2 goals. I'll say decent performance, especially away from home. Against a side like Sheffield United, who are all about basically like similar to Dice kind of set off, cross it in, an old English kind of style type of play, old fashioned you could say. Like I said, get it out to the wing, cross the ball into box, cause trouble with McBurney in there, and that's basically how they played. But they was very physical, as we would be aware of. And obviously they're at home and they're wanting to pick up 3 points in a kind of a 6 points a game already at the start of the season. But I thought we did really well for majority of the game. Obviously lapse of concentration and positioning punished us. Easily could have been a win for Sheffield United at the end, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I thought the game started off quite. As you can imagine, the crowd was up for it. Sheffield United was just piling on the pressure on us all the time. A few loose balls from Everton there and Sheffield United had a couple shots in goal, didn't really trouble us too much. One tipped around the post. They just looked bright. I thought Archer was running to channels really well. Norwood was just popping balls off everywhere. Like I said, I think Patterson struggled in the first half, to the point where I was thinking, should we take him off? Just his position and play, he's defensively immature. He still has so much to learn. It is a risk. But yeah, I can see the first goal here. The ball comes in, McBurney pops it off, and yeah, I think Onana in that goal. So I'm looking at the goals now. I know Everton scored first if you watch the game, but Onana to me I think if someone's trying to cross the ball in, and it's hard to do it. Is it hard to do it all the time to try and block the cross? But he didn't really make much effort at all to block the cross. Ball comes out to McBurney in the middle. He just pops it off to Archer, and it's a brilliant finish. Now that's 1-1. Everton's goal, first of all, was a bit of a scruffy one, but there's a few out swinging corners from Ashley Young, and I could see what they was trying to do. They've got a tall side. They're defensively quite tall. So that doesn't make sense. Sheffield United's defence is relatively tall, especially when Chris Basham comes on or plays. So it was always going to be a challenge, but we've got physical tall players ourselves, and I think we tried to make use of that by outswinging corners, headers, knock-ons from the likes of Onana a couple of times, and with the goal, Onana heads it on. I think the Corey tries to get on the end of it. It kind of scuffs everywhere. He actually initially makes a good save. The goalkeeper for Sheffield United, and then Decore just taps it home, really. Yeah, 1-0 up. It was a good period of the game, because I thought we kind of struggled just to try and get a hold of the game, apart from a minute or two before the goal. But we battled well. Like I said, I think in the middle, Onana, Decore, and Onana. I think I said Onana twice. To me, they looked. I think Hamer at the first half was relatively influential. I think driving towards our box, popping off passes like Norwood, there was a threat. But in terms of, I wouldn't say the midfield was overrun. I just think their game plan was to just hit it out to the wing, rely on set pieces, and that's what they did. And I think on the tail end of the second half, we kind of grew into it. I think Beto had a few good runs. I think he had a shot as well. Beto looks really good though, doesn't he? I can't recall many players who look so good holding a ball and passing it off, laying it off, running into channels. He's played on the wing before in his career. You could tell. Just looked really dangerous and just caused all game, or say about 75 minutes, absolute handful for the Sheffield United defenders. But yeah, just the second goal, just not good enough. I wouldn't even say they cut us open there. There was just kind of we had about 4 or 5 players around Archer. He still manages to get the shot off. Like I said, he looked lively. But an absolute unfortunate moment for Pickford. So it was a great shot by Archer initially, from about 20 yards out. But the ball bounces back off Pickford and goes in, and you're just thinking, I thought we looked a bit more threatening. Danjuma had a couple of moments where I think he should have laid it off. Potentially there was another one where he overran the ball when he was through on goal. You can see Dyche's reaction if you watched the game on the sidelines. He was absolutely furious. We had a few breakaways, and I just don't think, in the Premier League, you've got to take these chances. Especially, I think there was another situation where we had about 3 players of Everton, and I think Danjuma didn't pass the ball, or he just completely screwed it up. It was frustrating to watch Danjuma at times because he's got the potential there. He's got a brain. He gets past the player. He does look dangerous. So he's got skill as well. Pace is what obviously we need as well. He's got that. It's just sometimes, I think he tries to do too much. I think he tries to impress too much. I think because of his failed loan spell at Tottenham Hotspur, I just don't know if he's trying to prove to the fans that or to the world that he's a better player than people can make him out him for. But I think honestly, I think you're more effective doing the simple things. But I think in his case, he's so well capable of doing the simple things, but really good. And I think that will make him a much more effective player for us. Yeah, at times, it's nice to see a bit of confidence, a bit of skill, try to get past the player and all this kind of stuff. But just think moments like that, and he's done it a few times in the past couple of games, and yes, he had scored against Doncaster by nearly overrunning it, in my opinion. But he sometimes does need to just lay it off, have a little look up, because there is better options out there. But yeah, 2-1 down. I'm sitting in bed just going, I don't know how this has happened. Very frustrating. It's a partial of our luck at the moment. But the second half comes out, and I'm not gonna lie, we was the better team throughout that second half. I think Sheffield United had their moments, bit of loose possession sometimes, and I think there was a chance where Patterson, the ball comes into the box, a cross comes into the box, and Patterson it's just a rash whack at the ball, trying to clear it, completely miscues it, and comes out to what's his name? I think he's one of the new signings. I think he's the guy with the dreadlocks. He just blazes it. I think he blazed it over the bar, but it was a moment where we could have got punished, simply by a better team. And I think if Sheffield United in moments had better players up front in terms of, or in the wing, or on the wing, sorry, I think they could have punished us a bit more, because we still look a bit lackadaisical. For the lineup was Pickford, Patterson, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, Young, Onana, Gay, Decore, Garner on the right, who I thought struggled at times, and we know he's not in his natural position. But yeah, and then we had Danjuma and Beto down the middle, and I think Garner did an okay job. He just wasn't really effective. I think some of his deliveries, especially in the first half, and Patterson was just not good enough. I thought Young was the best in terms of dead ball kind of moments. He was better at crossing the board and stuff. But yeah, we battled hard. They had a couple of chances, but nothing to the point where my heart was in my throat. I thought Gustavo Hammer and Archer was both quiet in the second half. I think we nullified them to very little in terms of freedom on the ball and any real chances. But yeah, we looked threatening again. I thought Danjuma again looked lively. Beto was just some of his players, and in the first half, I think as well, when he was near the edge of the, just near the edge of the pitch, basically, by the bar line. I think that's what it's called. He just holds the ball up. He's just got so much strength about him, and it's like it was very Berbatov-y the way he was doing things in terms of hold up play and trying to beat a man in tight spaces. I thought he had a great game. He looks a real handful. I'm very excited because he's just showing everything that he has got in abundance, and I don't think how many players or how strong of a player you can put up against him. You're gonna have a hard time. He's got skill. He's got a brain. He flicks it on. He flicks the ball on. You know, he did it in the second half as well, where he backheeled it to Danjuma, I think, or Decore. He was just everywhere. He was just wanting the ball. He was dropping deep. I thought it, apart from the goal, apart from not scoring, I thought he was probably up there to be a man of the match for us. But I thought, I'm trying to record the chances we had in the second half. There was a point where we had 14 shots to 7 to them. It was again, getting shots off, getting forward isn't a problem. It's just tucking them away. And then we had a great bit of play. I think Decore lays it off to Garner. Garner, gets basically wrestled onto the floor, and Beto just holds it up. A lovely, well precisioned, lightweight of a pass to Patterson. Patterson, I was just thinking in the head, a few blazers over the bar with this cross or just absolutely overhit it. I'm going to lose my mind because it was a really good build-up play. But Patterson did really well. Kind of a never give up mentality. Smashes the ball across the box, and there's Danjuma at the back post out of nowhere to tap it home, and it's 2-2, and it's a great goal. It's not just a scruffy goal. It's not a bit of luck on that. It's actually a well team played goal. It was fantastic, and if I did a live watch along to this game, you would have seen me going ecstatic because I thought it was really well worked. And you could see it throughout the second half. There was builds up of play. It was, so important to have a striker like Beto or someone who could hold up the ball. It just brings so many other players into play. And I just thought we keep it unlucky at times. I think in terms of our play, I don't think the ref had the most amazing games. I think he gave us a yellow card in the second half for Decore, which I still, looking at it, I don't understand how he's been given a yellow. It was a shoulder barge to shoulder. I think at the first half, Garner had a foul against him as well, and he said it was a shoulder, but the Sheffield United player turned his back just at the right moments, and it's a foul, but this case it wasn't. I thought sometimes in the second half as well, we could have been, and like what happened at the end, we was giving away silly fouls. And I know you've got to be physical and whatnot, and you could be like 0.001 seconds timing off from a physical duel with the player, but that's what they kind of relied on, was set pieces and crossing boxes into the box and crossing balls into the box. And I just thought, we've seen what they did in open play, but I think open play in the second half, Sheffield United really struggled, apart from a few loose balls. But I can't recall too many close near shots, to be honest, or close moments for us after that. So McNeil come on, wasn't really effective too much. I think he's playing on the right as well, where Danjuma's obviously better on the left. But what McNeil brings to you is composure on the ball, sense of awareness and timing around him, and space to produce something in terms of quality crosses or obviously a strike at goal. But yeah, didn't do too much. Replaced Garner. Tarkowski went off with a head injury. I think initially he went off. The ball did absolutely smash him in the face on the side of the head. Had to go off, and then the referee said you have to have 30 seconds on the sidelines. Concussion kind of rule come in, and Dice just made a quick change to put Godfrey on, and I was like, yeah, I'm not. I'm slightly nervous now and anxious about this because Godfrey's coming on. You know what he can be like defensively. With Tarkowski, who's been solid all game, was winning most aerial duels with McBurney down his throat all game. He comes off, and then, like I said, Sheffield United had a few long throws into the box, crosses. Luckily, nothing much come with it, but at the very end, a corner from Sheffield United. I don't know where the added on time come from, like added on time. And I was a bit concerned that we're just going to get a bit of bad luck again and something's going to happen. And it nearly did. A ball coming into the box, and I don't know how McBurney has got not really a free header on goal, but I just think in the last minute of the game, you just do not give a single player theirs a sniff of trying to get that ball. But McBurney gets on the end of it. I think it bounces on the floor, and Pickford tips it onto the bar, and then I think it hits a player, Sheffield United player. Don't really think he necessarily struck the ball, because if he did, it would be in the back of the net. And Pickford made another save, but with his face or his chest, and then he kind of made another little save as well. It was an unbelievable save at first, especially in the very, very basically last touches of the game. And manages to keep a point for Everton. Yeah, let's see it here. Oh, that's the first goal. Yeah, it was a good goal. In terms of Onana winning that ball, I thought Onana played well today. I think he played a lot more. Still, there's moments where I still just think he needs to be more physical, be a bit more aggressive. That's the word. Be a bit more aggressive in some of his play, or duels with other players, opposition players. But I think on the ball, his movements, his eye for the pass, was really good. He did some of his signature tackles, and yeah, I think it was one of the best games I've seen him playing for Everton. I think he was everywhere. So they're just gone a was sweeping up the midfield nicely. I thought Decore was a nuisance. He's a strange player, Decore. He just runs everywhere. He's just banging into people. He's just running into spaces all the time. He's literally everywhere. I can't ever fault him for his energy and the work he puts in. But yeah, Beto was a bit quiet at the end of the game, but I think, like I said previously, that I think both teams at some points were settling for the points, but obviously if something like a corner happened or a loose ball come into play, then I think a team would take full advantage of it. But I don't think both teams were really committed at the end then. I think they both settled for the points. I think it's better for Everton, obviously away from home, to get a couple of goals as well is great. But yeah, much better team performance today overall. I think we had more possession, more shots. So it's positives. You can look at the positives, and we've taken the points, and it's a very much needed point. I think the game in the second half could have been there for the taking if there's just a bit more quality in the final third. But it hasn't happened, and it is what it is, and we've taken the point, and I'm not going to complain because, well, that was my prediction. I said 1-1, ended up being double that, 2-2. Even better in the sense of we scored 2 goals, but obviously conceding again is not ideal and great, even though the second goal, partially our fault for letting Archer have that shot, was still unlucky of how it went in. But yeah, onwards and upwards. I haven't got a clue for our next 6 games. Next game against is. Hopefully it comes up here, as you just showed Sheffield United's. But yeah, the international break now. Time to get some players back. Harrison trying to get, he'll probably be back. Get him into some training. McNeil, a bit more match sharpness, a bit more, fitter. And yeah, then Beto can settle a bit more into the life and living in Liverpool. They might go on holiday, to be honest. Some players do. And we'll take the points and go on from there. I think I've rambled on too much here. I think I've tried to dissect the game too much as well, but I've kind of just rambled on. But yeah, I thought we played really well. I was worried, obviously, with Garner starting at the right, but I think he did a job. But just, obviously, it'd be nice to have 2 effective wingers. And ideally Garner playing through the middle. But it might... this might start to happen when you see other players come back. But my worry is, I think we've got too many left wingers and no right wingers. That's what's worrying me a little bit. With the likes of Iwobi going. But we have to see. But yeah, that's the other transfer news. Transfer news to add on. Iwobi's left, as we all know. Slightly worried that we haven't brought anyone in to replace him. They could be looking at Dobbin to just gain a bit more experience and then potentially have a starting lineup playing on the right. But to me, he still hasn't got it. And he wasn't in the matchday squad as well, which I found a bit strange, as we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench. Tom Cannon's left Everton on a payment deal for £7 million to Leicester. I didn't expect him to go to Leicester, to be honest, but yeah, he's gone anyway. He's been used about too much, but I don't think it's just the wrong time for him to be at this club if he ever wanted to progress. I think for any youngster, to be honest, because we're in such a mess. And who else is left? Gabaman as well. Left mutually, contract terminated, agreed by both clubs. Yeah, I'm not saying any more about that. I think that's the last time I'm ever going to mention his name on this channel. And yeah, but we'll see after the international break. The likes of Dele Alli, I think he's still got more weeks to. Obviously, needs to get match fit as well. He's another player available. My issue is, though, and I am getting a little bit worried, is the right wing position. It is worrying me a little bit. But if you can manage without it, some other teams have managed without a left back or right back for large periods of the season or half a season. I think January is a big month for us again. Obviously, there could be more happening from now till then, but a right winger is something we're going to need, a natural right winger, because I can't really think of anyone we've got who can play there at the moment. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.